Well, happy Monday, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Y'all did it to me again. I thought I was by myself there for a moment. Oh,
We're
wow. What is it?
here.
I tell you, we've had a little bit of technical difficulty even in these last few seconds. So a little unsettled. But hey, after a break for a couple of weeks for NQC and recovering from NQC, we're back. And I'm tickled to be back. How about you guys?
I'm glad to
Yes,
be
sir.
back, especially after NQC. That was so fun.
It was fun.
I
It was
feel so refreshed.
poor Evan had to cancel out last minute. I really
Next year.
missed. I missed it. Yes, we're going to have to just get your schedule totally
Mhm.
free, and just
Yep.
get you lined up for NQC. But hey, I tell you what, Ford was well represented. I saw
Yep.
Avery and Riley going around and interacting with a lot of young artists and young fans, and it was a blessing for me to watch. And I think some folks even had seen y'all in some episodes, hadn't they?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
had several people approach me and
Mhm,
said, "Hey, you're from the Southern Gospel Forward podcast," and I was like, "Yeah."
mhm.
That's fantastic. Blesses my heart. Well, to y'all watching us, hello. We missed y'all. We are glad to be back in your living rooms or on your iPads or your iPods or whatever. iPods. You can't watch this on iPod, can you? Anyway, iPhone, however you're watching, we are glad that you have joined us. And if you will, if you would share us, that would be a blessing. If you'll like this and then click share, that'll share with your friends and get more faces of watching us. So, before we get started, we have a excellent show tonight. The guests are some of my favorite people in Southern gospel music. Precious people. Just looking so forward to spending the evening with them. We will go ahead real quick and cover a few sponsors. Y'all, we thank y'all so much for watching us, for encouraging us through comments, shares, subscribing to the YouTube channel, liking our SBM Studios Facebook page. All that blesses our hearts so much. And a few of y'all has actually shopped with our sponsors, and that's a big help to us as well. Um, hate to ask for much, but it really would help us out a lot if you could shop with our sponsors. If that would be something that might interest you, it will help us with some of our operating costs. The first sponsor, y'all are probably getting to know them by heart now, but the Ben Soap Company, bensoap.com. Love this company. I use their products every day. All natural soap and lotions, lip balms, all natural products made from goat milk, and they're good on the skin, great for folks with eczema and sensitive skin. If you would like to shop there, go to bensoap.com and use the promo code SBM Studios, and you'll receive a discount and we'll receive just a little bit of love back. Another sponsor that we're proud of is mypillow.com, another Christian owned company, very patriotic company. And I tell you, talking about NQC, I took my travel, my pillow, and I don't usually sleep very well when I'm away from home, but I was a little more comfortable because I had my pillow. If you'll go to mypillow.com, you can shop several different products: blankets, sheets, pajamas, dog beds, slippers. I don't know what all you can find there, but you also find the My Pillow. And if you go there, mypillow.com, and use SBM Studios as a promo code, you'll get your discount and we'll get that little love back. Lastly, last person we want to give a shout out to is Solid Ground Coffee. We want to support our young artists in our industry, and some of those have some side hustles. Is that the right way to say that? It's a side
Mhm.
hustle.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And Matthew and Presley Gooch of Karen and New River have Solid Ground Coffee, and it is amazing, a great product. And if you will go shop with them, they've given a coupon code as well as SBM Studios, and you'll get a little discount on that. So if you would hit our sponsors, we would greatly appreciate it, and it'd be a blessing to us. I tell you, Evan, you're going to have to take the commercials next time.
I got you. Send me the list. I'll do it. I'll do
I,
it.
and I really think that maybe some of our watchers would like check them out more if you guys, the young folks, ask instead of the old guy. You know what I'm saying? Because the
What
old
was it? Ben Soap Company,
My phone.
My Pillow, and Solid Ground Coffee. Go buy
you
it.
got it. I'll send you some information, brother.
Promo
Well,
code
look,
SBM Studios.
there you go. We got the business out of the way, and I hope we've got a big audience. Yeah, we do have a lot of folks watching live. Let's go ahead and bring on our guests. That sound good, y'all?
Let's
I'm
Yes,
do it.
sir.
ready.
Let's do it. All right. Please, everybody make welcome from the Kramers, Ben and Maria Kramer Wolfe.
Hello.
Here we are. Hey guys.
Hey, sorry y'all had to sit through those commercials.
I enjoyed it.
No, it's great. I sleep with a My Pillow. I've been sleeping with My Pillow probably for a decade now. I love it.
And you're the second.
He'll help you with your commercial.
That's awesome.
Please, pillows.
He's the second person because Ethan Wisnett also said I think that their family uses it, so it's legit.
Oh, they're great.
I like your poster behind you, Scott.
Oh, you now.
Yeah, that's from like 2018.
It is. I've got a newer one. It's a little smaller. But yeah, I do have a newer one, but that's the first one you guys sent that I got from you. So I remember reaching out and you sending that. So I thought I would put it up in the background. Y'all, I'm so appreciative of you sharing your time with us tonight. I know we interfered a little bit with Youngin's bedtime, but y'all worked with us on that. And I just thank y'all so much for taking the time to be with us tonight.
We're happy to be with you guys.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode with Trevor and I loved it. I was even laughing out loud. And we are just so excited to be with. We've known Riley and Scott for a while and just getting to know the Bradfords and really excited about all you're doing with the group. I appreciate it and I love following along. I do want to let the audience know that I'm holding a baby monitor and Bennett might make some noise and so I might have to step away and just go hold him. But if I do that, I'll be right back.
That is all right. We'll be along for the ride with you and we'll just enjoy real life as it plays out. How about that?
Perfect.
All right. Well, I know there's a lot of questions we're going to throw your way, but a good way for us to start, maybe, we usually do it this way, is if y'all will, you can just give us a little bit of your background. I know both of y'all come from Southern Gospel families. Maybe give a little bit about your background and how you met and what you're currently doing.
Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Okay. My background in gospel music started when my dad started a radio program called Good News Music Radio with Woody Wright. This was over 10 years ago that he did this program, and it was, I don't even remember the amount of stations. I think it was on 200 and some odd stations, maybe more. And we would always go over to Gaither Studios to record those programs. And so I got introduced. I'd walk the halls while Dad was recording, and I'd see all of the old DVD frames, and I'd see the history there. And then when you walk into Gaither Resource Center, they had all of the DVDs like playing throughout the store. And so we would buy them and take them home, and I'd watch them, and I would get acquainted with who many of the artists were on those DVDs. And I remember, I'm sure this is a story for a lot of young people, but I saw Lauren Talley singing as a high schooler. And my parents just pointed out to me, they said, do you see how she's using her voice to honor God? Someday, or even today, you can do that. And so I was in public school, but God really placed a calling and a desire on my life to use my voice in ministry for him, whatever that looked like. And so we had the opportunity to begin traveling as a family 10 years ago. And so I left public school and began traveling. Do you want to share kind of your background in gospel music?
Well, my dad is Gerald Wolfe with Greater Vision, and my history with gospel music is, I mean, I've been in this my entire life. I've had a dad who has, left home on Thursdays and been back on, and he's always been consistent with that, and I've loved getting to go on the road with him every now and then. Even during the summer times when I wasn't in school, I got to go on the road and be a part of that. So I've always loved gospel music, and my brother's the same way. He loves it too. My sister loves it. So our entire family loves this industry, this music, and we love presenting the gospel in music, and we just love encouraging people that way. And the way me and Maria met was at convention at NQC in 2015. And I was at Dad's booth working on some lyrics for a hymn sing that we were going to do the next day. And she came up to the table, she was by herself, and she said, "Hey, I'm Maria." And I was just kind of, struck in awe, like, wow, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. I didn't really say much. I just said, hey.
It was so awkward.
It was so awkward. That was really it. We didn't talk for another few months. Her family, the Kramers, they were working on their first family project, and they needed a graphic design artist. And her dad asked her if she was comfortable to reach out to me. And that's how we started talking in 2016, January 2016. And by the end of that year, we were married.
There you go. If I can just give a little background, because I think that these are kind of some fun pieces of information. My very first National Quartet Convention was in 2013, and that was the last year in Louisville. And I did not know anybody except for Woody Wright. And we were at a Good News Music Radio booth that we had set up. And so I began walking around and just trying to introduce myself to people. I was 16 years old, and that's kind of intimidating when you don't know anybody. And so, Avery, I applaud you because I know you have connections with people already, but like I saw you walking around NQC this year and you just had such a beautiful, healthy confidence to you. And I love talking to you. So good job. But the Browns always had a bowling night at Louisville, and it was for all the youth in gospel music. It didn't matter if you were an artist or what your role was. They just had all the youth come and bowl, and it was so much fun. And we found out years later that we were in the lanes right next to each other, but we never met each other. So it's kind of cool how God works that way. It was NQC 2015. I was talking with Trevor Conkle at his booth when he was with the Hoppers. Trevor and I had been friends for a while by that point, and Jeff Easter came up to me. I love Jeff Easter. He is like a friend to everybody.
Who doesn't love Jeff?
Yes, I know. And his accent is just one of a kind. I won't even try to duplicate it. It's just amazing. But
let's hear it.
Nope. He just came up to me and he said, I have to tell you something. Have you ever met Ben Wolfe? And I was like, no, who is that?
Have you ever met Ben Wolfe?
Yeah. I'm like, who is that? And he said, well, that's Gerald Wolfe's son. And I'm like, I didn't even know that Gerald Wolfe had kids. And this is embarrassing, but the only Greater Vision song that I knew was I Could Never Praise Him Enough, because it was on the Gaither Homecomings, like Thanksgiving
Good song.
DVD. Great song. But that just goes to show you I really didn't know many people. And so I was friends with Reagan Griffin, Rodney's daughter at the time. And so I had gone over to the booth to invite her to a youth night that the Lore family was having that year. They were just having like goodies and treats for all the young people in gospel music. And Ben was right there. So I was saying to him, would you like to come to this? And it was like the most awkward encounter I experienced that entire week. And I told myself I will never talk to him ever again because I'm so embarrassed. And then
little did she know.
The next day, he added me on Facebook. And so I was like, okay. So it's been really special how God worked that out, because I'm sure, a lot of people
prior to Jeff talking to her, I was with Jeff doing an interview with him with Matt Fouch. Matt Fouch with Legacy 5 used to do these interview series called On the Couch with Fouch.
I used to watch those every day.
I love that.
So I was the guy who did the video work for Matt. And
thank you for my childhood, man.
Oh, my pleasure. And so Jeff was one of the guys being interviewed. And I assume after that interview, that's when Jeff probably ran into Maria and said, hey, I think you need to talk to Ben. And so had it not been for Matt Fouch, Matt, if you're watching, thanks, man.
Well, it goes to show that God cares about all the details and the little things, and he does really orchestrate our lives. And even though I was only 18 years old at the time, I still would get in my head like, how am I ever going to meet somebody doing this for a living? I'm always traveling. The demographic is generally older, and I just really had to give it to the Lord and find complete contentment in him and serving him. And then he worked out the rest. And it's been a huge blessing.
It's amazing
great.
story.
That is so cool.
Mhm.
Y'all gonna have to write that down and put it in your book that you write, in about 20 or 30 years. Just
Oh
that's
yeah.
good, that's good stuff. All right, to my young
Yeah.
friends.
Hey,
Jeff-
Jeff popped on in the comments.
What did he
Jeff has
say?
slid into the comments. What did he say? I didn't see it, producer.
He just
Did he take credit?
He put some crazy music.
Praise hands.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Well, brother Jeff, thank you so much for joining us tonight and chiming in.
Yay,
It means a lot.
Jeff.
Yeah. All right, young friends. I'm going to let y'all take over and ask Ben and Maria the questions y'all may have lined up.
Well, of course, you've both been in gospel music for a good number of years. And what is a standout concert that y'all have been to, sang in? Just a concert that, looking back on your career, you're like, that was probably my favorite night of all.
Well, I have several, but two that come to mind pretty quickly. We had a concert in Sun City West, Arizona, and it was a 4 p.m. afternoon concert. I will never forget it. And it was one of those concerts where like everybody was 100% involved and paying attention to every single word of every single song. And everybody came to worship and they participated, and it was so special. We had another night like that in Ocala, Florida. We sing at a church every year called Christ Church in Marion County. And that crowd always shows up just paying attention to every word of every song. And I've never forgotten those concerts. They've always been really, really special. But again, there's several. I could go on and on.
There's nothing harder when doing a concert when people just sit there like this.
That's what made me laugh out loud in Trevor's interview with you guys, because he said some people look at us like we're just picking beans.
And then they come after the concert and say, "We were so blessed. This is our favorite concert." Like, thank you for telling us.
It's called
Hey.
Frozen Chosen.
Listen. I served as interim pastor at a church for about 18 months. And yeah, it isn't just the singing. I've stood up there and I've had folks come up to me afterwards and talk about what a blessing it was when I watched them sleep for about 45% of it. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to quiz them. What did I say? But anyway, yeah, I'm right there with you. That's good. Good question, Evan.
Do you have a favorite concert?
I think what you said was great.
You love Praise Fest.
Yeah, Praise Fest I was thinking about Praise Fest. I mean, that's
Great Smokies.
Yeah,
Praise
Great
Fest.
Smokies Praise Fest is my dad's event that he's been doing for 30 plus years. And to me, and I don't know if this is for you too, but it feels like it's our favorite event to be a part of because it's more of a worship retreat rather than just another gospel event. To me, it feels like.
Well, and all of them are very special. We don't want to downplay the other one.
Yeah.
It's just this one. Okay, I can put it into words what he's trying to. So one thing that is really meaningful to us as an artist is seeing the people's faces. And sometimes at an event where the lights have to be off because of cameras or lights or something, it's still very special. But you do miss that connection sometimes with seeing people's faces. And at Praise Fest, Great Smokies Praise Fest, we can see everybody's faces. And so,
Praise Fest.
Yeah, Praise Fest.
Praise Fest.
But those would be some of our highlights for sure.
Great.
So, Ben, have you always sang? Or I really didn't know until NQC. So I kind of knew of the Kramers and I knew of Maria and her family, but I didn't know you sang with them. So I was kind of shocked when you guys hit the stage one of those first nights I was there. I was like, hey, I didn't know Ben sang too. I mean, I figured because your dad does, but I didn't know for sure.
Well, I'm really blessed that I get to be a part of being on the platform with Maria and singing. It's something that I'm really thankful that the Lord has given me that gift to be able to do that. And I never really got on a platform to sing ever. I was always the person who was, behind the scenes doing production work, rather it be with like the first thing I did with Dad professionally was on Jubilee Christmas tour. I would help do production work with Robert Dixon and like the lighting guys. I would help run their stage teleprompter so the Booth Brothers wouldn't forget their lyrics on it. I'm kidding.
Michael would forget there.
No, it would help them, stay on track with the concert, and so that would be my job.
Ben loves behind the scenes work.
I love it. I love video work, and so that's my life. That's what I love to do. And then once I married Maria, I slowly kind of worked my way, and they said, we do not want to pressure you to sing, but if you feel like you want to, we would gladly have you be a part of that. And so I just took my time with it, and I'm glad I'm a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
On a typical night, who chooses the songs that y'all sing, and maybe what's one of your favorite songs that y'all are singing now?
So my dad and I do the set list. I usually will give him a general format of what I think will fit the night, and then he will tweak it. And I have a good feeling of how much music can fit in a certain amount of time if someone gives us a time limit. Our favorite song to sing right now, for me personally, Sing Me There and What the Soldiers Didn't See.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorites?
Yeah, those two, for sure.
They've just been... We have had, and we have other songs, like The Hope of All Tomorrows has been one that people request a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the top 3 that get requested probably. And it's really special when you can see a song change or resonate with someone. It's just really meaningful to be a vessel that can deliver that song. So it's exciting to deliver them.
Yeah.
This is going to sound nerdy, but whenever I listen to your music, I love the lyrics, but I love the arrangements just as much. And there's some groups that I'm like, okay, the arrangement was okay, but with all of your music, because I did kind of like a crash course of y'all's music today, and every single arrangement was just, every time I was like, that's a good arrangement. And then I went to the next song, I was like, that's an even better arrangement. So whoever is the producer, whoever helps out with arrangement, absolutely amazing job. Vocal arrangements and everything as far as that
Wayne
goes.
Hahn.
Brother Wayne.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yay,
Okay.
Wayne. Yeah, my dad will give Wayne like an idea of what he's hoping for, and then Wayne does the majority of them. The ones that my dad really arranges are his own songs that he writes, which is like The Hope of All Tomorrows. These are the gifts I bring. But Wayne, he is phenomenal. We are so blessed to work with him. And he makes the process fun. He doesn't make it like feel pressured. It's just fun.
And Trey Ivy has helped out on a few things too.
Trey Ivy has done a lot of orchestrations,
Mm-hmm.
and he's played piano, and Trey is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have heard our arrangement of In the First Light, but all of that orchestration is Trey, and
He's
that
amazing.
is just it's amazing.
He is amazing. I want to real quick interject, and y'all remember, my watchers, when you see me doing this, I'm not disinterested and I'm not paying attention, but all the control board is right over yonder. So I'm looking at it. And we've got a lot of folks checking in. So producer Jason, you want to slap on some comments and let's say howdy to some folks?
Yeah.
Oh, you know Dad's watching.
He's
Oh,
always
Dad.
watching.
Hi. I always love the comment that just says hello.
Hello.
And of course, it's our father.
Hi, everybody.
Megan Edgeworth says, hey, everybody. Let's see.
Ken Cook.
Ken Cook
Ken
is
Cook
one of
is
my
watching.
mentors. He is watching. We already put up Jeff Easter's praising hands. Mike,
Hi,
right
Mike. We know
Hey,
Mike.
Mike.
He comes to a lot of our concerts. He's a blessing.
Excellent.
Yay. Hi,
Thank
Eunice.
you, Eunice, for watching. I see Nicholas.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, Nicholas.
Hey.
He's a
Thank
friend
you.
to everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy, for watching. I see Matt Fouch.
Yeah.
He's
Let's
checking
see.
in.
Stop it.
Brother Matt.
Let's see.
Matt, we were giving you shout outs.
I think he was.
Oh, he was
He was
talking
talking
back
to somebody too.
Riley's
Yes.
sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but thank you, Matt, for watching.
Awesome.
Let's see, anybody else? We can't put everybody up, but we like to pick up and put a few here or
I
there.
think Ben's dad's in the comments now.
Yeah, you might want to throw up
Mhm.
one of the last comments on there.
Okay,
So
let's
look at-
go.
look at
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah,
Harold's in the
Hi,
house.
Gerald.
that name looks familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure who he is, but I think I've heard of him before.
Yes. Now I'm a little nervous because that's one of my heroes sitting there tuning in.
Yay.
So, but thank you so much, Gerald, for joining us. And
Hi, Abby.
Abby's watching. We'll keep trying. Hey, there's Caitlin Grindstaff. I met that family at NQC, and they gave me a CD, and I have y'all to your family, Caitlin. I have thoroughly enjoyed that. It's excellently well done. Mom writes most of the songs. It was just beautiful. Bless my heart. So I want to say thank you. That was awesome.
Here's a question.
All right, we got a question. Throw it up there, buddy. All right, this is for Ben.
I tell you, it was a whirlwind. I will say that. We almost, me, John, Chris, Rodney, almost didn't make it to London because of the weather situation that was going on in North Carolina at that time. I was supposed to fly out of Peoria here, but my flight got canceled because of North Carolina. I was flying there, then to London.
Horrible storms, yeah.
And so I went to the desk at the airport and said, hey, is there any way I could get to London tonight because I have to be in the studio tomorrow? And the man there actually recognized me because he went to our church up here, which is kind of a God thing. And he said, hey, you think you can make it to Chicago in 3 hours?
That's 2.5 hours from here.
Yeah. I said, I think so. He said, okay, I got you a flight. It was, at that time, it was 2:00 and had to make a 7:00 flight or 8:00 flight. And so I booked it up there, and thank the Lord I made it to London, and it was an amazing experience.
You went straight to the studio.
Yeah, I went straight to the studio.
Wow.
Overnight flight, landed,
Wow.
went straight to the studio. All the other guys made it from North Carolina. They made it. That was a God thing as well.
I wasn't bitter at all.
It's Maria's dream to go to
Maria
London.
got left out,
Yeah.
man.
I told her, I promise. I said, I'm going to take you to London. I promise.
He was sending me like all this video footage, like when the orchestra got there, and I was like, "Oh man, that was so cool!" And it's
Am I not
all
correct? It was Abbey
Christmas
Road.
music. What'd you say, Evan?
Was it? Am I correct in saying it was Abbey Road Studios?
Yes.
It was Abbey Road Studios, and
That
we were in Studio One, which is their largest room for orchestra and big choirs. And I try not to geek out because major movies and composers have been in that room.
Yes.
I mean, I could name so many.
You loved the food over there too, and
Yeah.
they did go to McDonald's. That was something.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
kind of a last resort thing because we were in a hurry. But they have great fish and chips.
And
they
I'll
have
say this.
gluten-free fish and chips, which
Gluten-free
I have
fish and
celiac,
chips.
so I want to go try their gluten-free fish and chips.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
No, sir. You go ahead.
Oh well, in that room in Studio One, you could hear, I mean, the slightest noise. It was so perfectly built. The reverb in that room was probably 2 seconds, and you clap your hands and it just went on. I would say it's about the size of a basketball gymnasium. The ceiling had to be at least 60.
Didn't you like accidentally mess up one of the tapes?
Yeah. Yeah. So Trey Ivy, he said, "Hey man, I forgot my coffee. Could you go in the room and grab my cup real quick?" So I'm like, okay. I have 3 cameras set up just so I could capture everything. So I ran out of the room and grabbed his coffee, and I thought they were taking a short break. And so the door that entered the room, of course, would be one of those.
The whole place
So,
like from the
as soon as I opened the door, opening didn't make the noise, closing it made the noise.
Oh.
So when I opened the door, I looked and I saw all the red lights on the wall on. I'm like, oh man. Then the door shut and then made the noise, and they all just like turned their heads at me and said, "Trey, I got coffee."
Glenn
Oh.
has his whole album trivia
Yeah.
cheat sheet here.
the Great Division album trivia right here.
I've got one of those. And I didn't hear the door on the product, so that's a good
That's
thing.
that's
That was-
good. That's good.
And this is not, I know this is all about you guys and Kramers tonight, but I will say, anybody out there,
Mm.
if you are looking for the perfect traditional Christmas album that's
Mhm.
new for this year, you
Christmas
need to
in
look no
London,
fur-
Greater
yeah,
Vision.
Christmas in London, Greater Vision. It is excellent from the first note to the last. It's the best thing that you'll put in your CD player or your USB drive this year. Y'all need to go check that
Or a
out.
vinyl record player.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the gold record.
Wait, add to our collection.
I don't like records at all.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. I only saw the one sitting up on top and then I looked at the shelf. Wow,
It's-
you guys have
There's one shelf, two shelves, and then there's a whole other shelf on the bottom.
Man, that's
that's
awesome.
awesome. Someone brought old cathedral
Yeah.
like in the shrink wrap records.
That's the Spear family, but
Let's see.
that one's
This one right here is the first ever cathedral album ever
Nice.
released
Oh, that's
with
so cool.
Danny and Glenn and God, I can't remember the other guy's name, but
So how do you track all those down?
I have a spreadsheet, and
We have a
whenever
Word
I go
document.
record shopping, I like look and see how many do I have if I want another copy.
Man,
So,
you're
yeah.
serious.
That's awesome.
I have like probably 50 more sitting like
over
within
here that we
foot
have
distance
not.
that I've yet to put in the shelf yet. So
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
And
great.
it's not all
Danny
gospel,
Coker,
but
thank you,
most
Nick
of them.
Wilk. He corrected me on the other guy.
Yeah, Evan, if you paid vintage marketplace price on that one, you had to save up a few dollars. I haven't. I'm too
Actually,
cheap.
I can take credit for that Cathedrals trio. I picked it up at the thrift store. I was like, oh, wow, the Cathedrals trio, and
At
didn't
the
know what it
thrift
was.
store.
Didn't know what it was, and I was like,
And then Evan
I brought it home, and I was like, this is the first cathedral
I
album.
was like, oh.
The thrift
And it was
store.
probably like 50 cents, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like $1.50 at the thrift store. So,
I cannot. Oh, I'm about to.
and Scott, I'm going to make you hurt a little worse. It was in Jasper. Mm.
Okay, let's move on. Anyway,
Jasper's not far from Scott either. So,
we've got another honored guest.
Yeah, I think we're up a
I
while.
want to. Yes, Miss Donna's watching. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Donna.
Hey, Mom.
Of course, they may be in the
Aw.
same room.
They could be.
They could be, but anyway, thank y'all for joining us. I want to ask a quick question, and then I'll get out of the way again. All right. So, as I've said before, you two are two of my favorite personalities, young, old, whatever, in Southern gospel. And I love watching y'all. Y'all have different personalities.
Very
And I can relate to that because my wife and I have different personalities.
Can you
I'm a
tell?
little more chatty and out in front, and Janice is a whole lot more background and not so chatty and not so out front. Just love watching y'all together. One of the biggest things that I get from you guys, and even this afternoon when we were talking, going through the test, is y'all have a heart of encouragement. You've encouraged this old guy through the years. Even when we talked at NQC this year, I came away blessed and encouraged after we talked. I've always felt that way. And it just seems like that is just one of your gifts that you have. And maybe have a little conversation about that, because obviously for you to do that, you're intentional about it. It means something to you. And I bet it probably comes from also being encouraged. So maybe bring that into conversation when you're out front with the fans and young fans, old fans, all alike, and your spirit of encouragement and what that means to you.
The Lord has called all of us to be basically the well for us to encourage one another. Like one of the songs on our Sing Me There project is called "Let Me Be the Well," and that is calling us to be like Christ as best as we can. And so when we're talking to fellow believers, we want to be encouragers to people. And I think that's very important.
Well, and I know like everybody has pretty much heard this quote, but it has always stuck with me of people will never remember what you say, but they'll remember how you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been true for me too. I always remember how someone has made me feel. And when someone blesses you, you cannot wait to get to them and share that with them. It's important to you. You want them to know. I remember Dr. Stanley, his life of ministry just is continuing to bless us and continuing to minister to us, even though he's already with Jesus. And when he officiated our wedding, at the end of the ceremony, I just couldn't wait to tell him, like, you mean so much to us. And so when people come and they take the time to share their heart with us, it's very important that we listen, because people really, your music is kind of meaningless if people can't trust you with what they have to say to you, or if they can't trust your music. They want to see how you live off the platform. And so we have been challenged just to always honor God with our lives, with what we do and say. We're not perfect at it. It is a daily choice that we strive for, but we just try to honor God in everything that we do on and off the platform. Thank you for your words. They mean a lot.
Yes, thank y'all. Even in this new venture, this Southern Gospel Forward, and been so encouraging in the group to our young folks and participating. And I know that means
I'm excited. I'm like, I think I told Avery or Scott at NQC, I'm like, most of the people in this group are probably from Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, which is awesome. So when they see us coming in, it's like, who's that? But I'm just so excited. I love it. I think it's wonderful.
No, yeah, and meeting you at NQC, like I got the vibe that you would be super precious just from online, but like you were amazing in person, and like you were so encouraging about this podcast. So that really meant a lot to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you guys continue this for a long time. I'm excited about it.
Thank you so much. All right, y'all got any more questions about? We got several that I know that folks sent in, but you may have some originals. Just lay it out there.
I'm going to ask the one I always ask all the artists. So if you could travel with a retired group, like a group that is no longer on the road, what group would it be and why? That could, both of you can answer that one.
Oh, wow.
Cathedrals.
Didn't take
Just,
long.
just, just by the road stories that I've heard.
I have no idea. A retired group. I wouldn't travel with the Cathedrals because they're all men.
I mean, in all seriousness, I would love to travel with them simply because of those two guys, George and Glenn, because they were the real deal.
Yeah.
I only met George once. I never met Glenn. I wish I did. I met George when I was probably 5 or 6. I don't quite remember. Dad knows. He was, I think it was his last NQC appearance, and he was on someone's bus, and I just remember shaking his hand and him saying, "It's good to meet you, buddy."
Evan's about to go to heaven right now. Like, oh.
That's all I got from George. But yeah, just by the things I've heard and seen on videos, I just would think, and that would be awesome to experience traveling with those guys.
Well, the thing that I see from that, knowing them back then, and you, like you said, they were the real deal. Also, very encouraging to those up and coming, and intentionally mentoring others.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ben, your dad Gerald took that and the class and integrity and the way that he has managed Greater Vision and led in all of the different roles that he plays in Southern gospel music. I see George and Glenn in Gerald.
Yeah, those two guys, they definitely lived through Dad for sure.
Yes.
They made a huge impact.
And now they're living through you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just see this continuing on and the impact they had, and again, passed down from generation to generation, because I see it in you. So that's
especially awesome. When Ben does his Glenn jump on Sing Me There.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I was like, I had to know that.
Yes. I honestly, I don't have an answer for you, and I wish I did. Like, I admire so many groups like the Tallies and the Happy Goodmans, and I just wouldn't want to mess it up. I would just like to just admire. I don't know.
What if you put just like not being a part of it, but just putting yourself there?
Yeah, I think Luke said, he was like, I don't know that there's a group. He goes, but I wish I could have been at the table when the Inspirations first joined up in high school. He's like, I just want to know if I was cool enough to hang out with them. So like,
that's awesome. Yeah, I think for sure, like the McCamies, and that is so interesting. I would answer that because they are totally opposite style than what our family shares. But you can absolutely feel the presence of the Lord in so
Mhm.
many of their services. And I just think that's so exciting. And so I would love to just be a fly on the wall, during their services from way back when. I think that'd be so cool.
Awesome.
I miss them so much on the road.
Yeah.
They were one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. It's nice they showed up at NQC this
Yeah.
year. People
Yeah.
really love them so much. It's kind of like when you see Connie Hopper. She
Right.
will forever be the Hoppers, part of them. But
Yeah.
it's like when you see her, because she doesn't travel all the time anymore, you just miss her so much. And so when she shows up, it's really special.
That's good.
What is a song that you both sing, or even another group sings, that really ministers to you?
I have God to thank for everything by the Inspirations.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, I did not grow up listening to like Southern gospel music like that, but it was last year at NQC. I happened to be in the room when they were wearing their white suits and they sang I have God to thank for everything. They did so many
They probably did
reprises of it.
7 or 8
Yes.
encores.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh my word, this is so special. So we all go through a lot of real life, and the Lord uses songs to pop into our heads when we're going through a really hard time. That song has really ministered to me through a lot of different challenges that I've been through, and so I really cling to that one. What would yours be?
I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so many.
That's a tough question to isolate.
Mm-hmm.
I really love God on the Mountain.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
McCamey's.
McCamey's, yeah.
Yeah. That is such a great song, no matter who sings it.
It is.
And I love that because it's such a simple lyric.
Yeah.
It's the complexity of the lyrics is not, or in the meter and all the song structure. It's just a very simple song, but mercy, the power.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Fantastic. Evan, do you have another one?
Yes, but I don't want to throw off like the
mood.
goodness. Yeah, I don't want to throw off the vibe.
You already did.
By the way, Evan, I think you could be a great radio voice.
He is. Yes.
Thank
I've
you.
been trying
Thank
I
you.
mean, you've got it, man.
I'd love to. I'm getting my degree in music ed, but if that falls
cool.
through, I'd totally go into radio.
You can even do just voiceovers.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Like commercials, as
Yeah.
Scott said earlier. But my question is, because in the little bit that I traveled, my number one thing that I loved was the road trip snacks. What are your two favorites?
Good question.
You've got a few.
I love snacks. I love the caramel and cheese
You see
popcorn
how she just
mix
lit up?
from Costco. I love that. I literally was sitting at my booth at NQC this year just eating out of this ginormous bag of caramel and cheese popcorn. I was didn't even care anymore. The other night we finished, and really don't want to eat candy all the time, but we finished singing outside. It was freezing cold. It was 48 degrees. And there was a movie theater across the street, and I went over and I got my Milk Duds and my Reese's Pieces. I was very happy.
Awesome.
We love cheese and crackers, mixed nuts, jalapeno chips.
Bam.
I could go on and on.
Yes.
Love
Jalapeno chip.
Keep going. Keep going.
fruit.
Kit Kat.
Just pulled one out of thin air.
Or some Lance peanut butter crackers.
Or when you're driving.
We are currently in my office, so I got my snacks right here.
Awesome.
That was my favorite question, Evan. Thank you.
Hey, and it'll help you out
What
in
song
later.
means the most to you? You know what? My favorite question was the snacks question.
I'm looking through the questions that
Mhm.
I know Maria posted today and had several folks. We've already hit many of these questions. Here's one for Ben. And he mentioned like with the gospel music hymn sing and the lyric videos. And I know he is excellent at preparing lyric videos. So the question was posed, what editing software is Ben's favorite to use to make lyric videos?
I use Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro. So there you go.
As Evan types this down on his notes.
Write that down.
Making notes.
Yeah.
No, let's see. I started making videos on iMovie, and then I eventually moved over to Final Cut Pro, and I haven't left it since. I've probably been using it for 15 years.
Tell them what your
Or so.
first lyric video was
First lyric video was "Put Out the Fire"
Put out the fire.
for Greater
for
Vision.
Greater Vision,
Yeah.
and that took about 14, 15 hours to do at that time.
And then wasn't your
Amazing.
second one Good News from Jerusalem? From Tribute?
Oh,
It might have been.
that's probably, I wouldn't say number one, but within my top 3 favorites of all time in gospel music.
Oh, like song-wise?
Oh, song wise, just overall. Like when
Great
That's-
song.
if you made that lyric video, I've watched it. I'm probably half of the views on that video. Again, thanks for the childhood.
If Josh Singletary is watching, he's saying thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been that song, or at that time, Dad was doing a DVD of all lyric videos for their
There's a question.
As We Speak album, and so we did a whole DVD of just lyric videos. And so I had just started doing, like, right off the bat. Dad always gets me started on new things. Like, he's the reason I'm doing graphic design, really, is because he needed a Praise Fest flyer. He said, "Hey, do you know how to make a graphic?" I said,
Wish
"No."
we could show it right now.
Yeah. It's somewhere. So,
Well, and just a little fun side note, when we first got married, he did a lot of footage, like drone footage for his lyric videos. Instead of just getting stock footage, he would actually get his own
yeah,
footage.
actually, all the footage would be my own
And
footage.
so, like, if you have seen our Revive Us Again lyric video or still lyric video for Greater
Yes,
Vision,
that one's beautiful.
when the prodigal comes home for tribute,
Mhm.
all of those were done. Like, we would go around the wilderness, I would say, outside and just film
The
random things.
wilderness.
We had a friend in Arizona that played the prodigal for that lyric video. So we've had a lot of fun, but he is the one that does it, not me. I just played a role in some of those.
Yeah, back to the first video taking 14 hours. It's because technology at that time couldn't keep up with what I was trying to do. And every time I'd move the cursor, it'd be like spinny wheel. Change a text, spinny wheel.
Yeah.
And now I could do a lyric video, and I mean it varies on the song, of course.
Your most recent one was Witness Stand, wasn't it? For Mylan Hayes Family.
Oh, that one's
Oh,
beautiful,
yeah, that's
too.
a good video. Like I remember.
Ben cannot watch it without crying.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't think I can either.
when
That's good.
it ends and it says Jesus at the end, I like look. He always shows me his lyric videos before he like sends them to the group,
I gotta make sure it moves her before I send
and
it
I
out.
like look at him and he just like had tears streaming down his face. I was like, I think it's good, Ben. I think it's really good.
Yeah, to me, a lyric video, it needs to move me before I think it's ready, because I want to be able to bring, what the writers of the song want people to experience when they hear it for the first time. So if I can do that visually, then I've done my job.
You do an excellent job. Excellent job.
Thank you. I
We
really
had
enjoyed
Go ahead, Riley.
We had another question that was taken from your questions. Why do most gospel singers marry other gospel singers?
Finish the question, Riley. It's hilarious.
I don't.
It
Oh.
says
Instead of random people.
Oh, is that, I missed the rest.
Yeah.
Well, when I first met Maria, I thought she was random.
Yeah. The first
this came into my Instagram today, and I literally laughed out loud. And when we were doing our check today with Scott, I was like, look at this question. It's hilarious. Why do most other gospel singers marry other gospel singers instead of random people?
It's so they don't have to explain, hey, this is what I do. Are you comfortable with that? I'm going to be
There you
gone, 200 days out of the year. Is that all right?
No. So I would say actually the majority, and random is not, in my opinion, the right word, because that just makes it sound like that
It
person's
was
not-
just funny the way
Yeah,
it
it
was
was so
worded.
funny.
Mhm.
But most people don't marry somebody who
Right.
does the same thing as them, the same career. So it's more of a rarity, I would say.
Mhm.
I was sincerely open to anybody that God had for me. I just needed them to be sold out for Christ and to understand my calling and be supportive of it. And so it just happened. I'm so grateful that Ben grew up in gospel music because he is familiar with road life. It's nothing new to him. So that's just such a blessing. So I don't know if that really answers that question.
Yeah. Well, I think it's it really, sometimes those that are in the industry already do come together because basically, like I said, you already have the explanation of what's involved and what's required because it is a calling for both in the couple. And we talked about that today when we were testing things out. That's just like with Ben's parents and Gerald and his years on the road. Miss Donna is called to that ministry as well for that to work. Or if she wasn't, it wouldn't work because there's such sacrifice on her part because of that time. So,
and she's one of the main reasons I love this music too. Like not just Dad, it's also her.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, she really like honors Gerald with how she is his spouse and their mom, and just totally fueled their passion and their love and support for it.
I have vivid memories of being in the car seat and hearing, "We're on a journey, destination heaven."
I love it. Talking about the question though, at least they said random people and not why not normal people. At least they didn't say that, right? So
yeah, to make gospel music singers seem out there.
I think the last question that we haven't really hit on, and I think it kind of goes with itself, and this goes with the schooling of your children because of course, that will be something that will come on down the road. And the question was going between like public school or private school or homeschool. But for the life of a Southern gospel singer, it really is just a whole lot more conducive to be homeschooled, I would say, because it's really hard, especially both parents on the road. Now, I know sometimes it works if a spouse stays home, then the kids can go to a public or a private school. But with both parents on the road, it just doesn't seem conducive. That would be an option other than your own homeschooling. And right, I hate to answer your question for you, but I think that was kind of a straightforward.
Yeah, it's something we're really praying about.
Elizabeth is already homeschooled with her preschool, so she has like a great foundation of. She's involved in Awana. So for those of you who don't know, we have a little girl named Elizabeth. She's 4. And then we have a son named Bennett, and he's 1.5. And Elizabeth goes to Awanas every week. And so she's learning how to memorize scripture. She's involved in a dance class and in piano. So she's learning music theory already. And then she is involved in her Wednesday night Sunday school classes since we can't always make Sundays. And then we do like just really simple, like going through the alphabet, learning how to write 3-letter words, learning how to write her name. Moving forward, we're really praying because we have the option to continue homeschooling, or there's a great private school in our area that has full freedom to teach the Word of God. And it's really hard to know what to do right now because what's most important to me is that my child is not indoctrinated by the world and that she is fed the Word of God, but also has room to learn how to stand in her own faith. Because that's really important. I was raised in public school, and praise God, I had a really great experience. And while I was introduced to a lot of things of the world, I had the opportunity to make a choice whether I wanted to join in or stand on my own. And I was, from a very young age, praise the Lord, very excited to follow Christ and live for him. So I want her to have those opportunities as well. Like, you have to learn how to stand on your own as well. But it's just a lot of prayer has to go into schooling.
Amen. And that's the key. I'm all for everyone having the option and the freedom of choice to however we wish to educate our children, but bathing it in prayer is option number 1. So fantastic. So I think that's covered all of the questions. And I'm hoping, I've never had this happen before, just full disclosure. My internet glitched a while ago. I think y'all were able to still keep going on our virtual studio. I hope so. I hope it didn't cause any hiccups on the production side of it. Y'all probably would have noticed it, and it didn't seem like you did. So that's a good thing. Okay, great. All right. Real quick, Jason, you want to pop up a couple of quick maybe comments? And I think there was a question.
Oh, Bill Schwenk. Thank
Bill
you.
loving the show. Brother Mal Mallory in our neck of the woods. He's enjoying it as well. Producer Jason's wife, Rachel, she says she
Wonderful.
enjoys meeting you guys. And
Thank you.
absolutely. Did you have a question too?
Yeah.
It popped up. There you go. Here's a good one.
That's our next door
Hey,
neighbor.
Wendy.
Awesome. They're the best. They take care of our place for us while we're gone. They're just
Awesome.
awesome. We
They
cannot
are
say
a
enough
huge
about them.
blessing. The best neighbors.
We do have plans to begin a new project in April.
Awesome.
So that's very, very exciting. We released 2 albums last year, so we had to take a break this year. It was so much work to get those out. And it's wonderful. We love that process, but we wanted to give these projects space this year to be able to use them live before we did another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Got another one, Jason?
It's not a question, but it's a comment.
I've got a comment. Oh, the Collinsworth family.
Hey.
Hey,
Love you guys.
We love
thank
y'all.
y'all so much for joining us.
Yay.
It means a lot for the artist to jump in, and it's encouraging to our young folks. I know our young hosts and our young watchers, and the whole concept of this thing. And I don't think, guys, we've talked about this a lot on the air, but the whole reason this came about was something that's been knocking around in my head for a few years. I'm a huge believer that this music is not just for the aged. I feel like that it is very viable, very relevant, and very appealing to young folks when it is presented positively. And I'm encouraged by seeing how many young people come to our concerts, especially the big productions, NQC, Memphis Quartet Show, several things that I've been to, and just wanting to provide a community for young artists and young fans to come together. So anytime that the artists jump in on this, I know it's a huge encouragement to our young folks, and we appreciate that to all those who have stepped in and said howdy tonight.
I totally agree with you. It's not about age at all when it comes to gospel music. My son is 1 and he loves quartet music.
Yes.
His favorite song right now is Think About There by Greater Vision. I mean, he was like dancing to it earlier today. Oh, he also loves I'll Have a New Life by Dixie Echoes. I don't know if you all saw that video on Facebook, but he was really enjoying that.
Yes.
It's just about, like, if you are hungry for the Lord and for his word, you want to listen to songs that have that message in them and fill your life with them. Fill your mind and your home with songs that are about the Lord and his word. It's so important.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that is just I guess a mission for me, which I'm a old timer in the youth ministry. I've served many years with youth ministry. I love young folks. And I've always, I don't really have a name that's known. I've always gone and supported the singing and supported the groups. But most folks don't know who I am. I'm kind of one of those behind the scenes folks, but have been blessed with more opportunity to serve on the advisory board with SGMA. And as far as what I can bring to the table, I want to help grow our music and our community with the young folks. It just means a lot to me. And finding new avenues, and maybe this one will be a way. Maybe that's the thing I'm hoping with the shares and with the crowds that comes in on this, that it'll expose the music to more people. Even though we're not exactly playing the music, we are telling people where they can find it. So anyway, so I need to hush. I'm talking too much. I told you, Maria, I need to step out of the way and get out of this.
No, it's okay.
You're good.
Well, and I think that's a message in and of itself, is like, oftentimes people don't see it all that we do, and God sees it. And living a quiet life is beautiful to the Lord. And so he sees every effort that you've made, Scott, and he will honor that.
Take the song Faces, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That Rodney Griffin song there.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites. Thank you all
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
another song I would probably mention.
As
from
a
the
favorite.
question. Yeah, as a favorite.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to see kind of one thing we try to get all the artists to do is, what's one piece of advice you would give to young people that are following the Lord and trying to be faithful like that? What's a piece of advice you would give them?
Something that I've learned recently is that what is most important to the Lord is full surrender of ourselves. And it's not necessarily just being busy for God or thinking that you're accomplishing a lot by just running yourself ragged for the Lord. He wants our complete devotion, attention, and time every single day. And I will say this to anybody that's listening. When I was pregnant with my daughter, Elizabeth, I was super sick. I was getting sick all the time. And so I was in what you would call survival mode because I was on the road and doing concerts.
All I had to say was Skyline Chili, and it was all over.
Also, we lost Scott, so I hope he comes back. Oh no. But I'll just say this. I became so overwhelmed with feeling sick all the time. And then I was a new mommy. And so I had this new responsibility of being on the road and also caring for a newborn. And I really let my time with the Lord take a back seat. And when I say that, I mean like my quiet time in the Word. And I regret that so much because it really showed in my life, just like it just makes such a difference when you spend time with God. And so I had this like come to Jesus moment with myself where I was like, if I have enough time for this, if I have enough time to get on Instagram or on Facebook or to email or text somebody, I have enough time to sit down and read God's word, pray to him, journal to him, memorize scripture. And so I would just say to every person listening, doesn't even have to be young, just remember God wants all of you first before he wants any of your efforts.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to add?
Amen.
Hi, Scott.
Well, I was listening.
Oh,
The behind the scenes funny story about this is before I came out here tonight, I cut up a lot of jalapeno peppers. And I reached up when y'all were talking, and I touched my eye.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Right now, I'm absolutely still on fire, but I forgot the tears to stop flowing. Y'all would have thought I was in the spirit or something.
Listen, you should have just gone along with what I was saying. Just be like, I'm so touched right now.
But
Touched by the jalapenos.
so, word for the wise: if you're going to get on camera and go live, don't cut jalapenos and touch your eyes. It's not a good combination. But anyway, sorry about pulling out. I think Jason was going to pop something up here.
Oh, Willie and Sandy Wynn.
Yes.
Founding member of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yes,
Love you
thank
guys.
y'all so much for watching.
Evan.
I just realized who that was.
Going to pull out an album. Here we go.
Oh, Luke, thank you.
Aw.
I have a fun inspiration story. I don't know if he's still watching, but this year at NQC, we were going up to sing after Jonathan Wilburn, and the Inspirations joined Jonathan Wilburn on a couple songs. And so while they were waiting backstage, I walked up, and my personality, okay, let me just start by this. The Inspirations, I don't know them well enough. So like, I don't know if I think Luke is maybe more quiet by nature. And so I just wanted to, nope, Evan says no.
Nope.
Well, I wanted to tone down my personality. So I walked up and I was like, hi, you guys. I'm toning my personality down to a 1 from a 10 just to keep it calm back here. And they all laughed. But we really enjoy seeing them. And I know they worked so hard at NQC. They were singing almost every day, if not every day.
They closed out a couple nights.
Yeah,
That's
in the
not
10
easy.
o'clock hour, which convention I think used to go like all the way till 2 a.m. sometimes. So
It did.
In the
praise
old
God,
days,
it doesn't do that anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, thank you, Luke. We love that song.
That all for the questions or comments?
that's it.
All right, excellent.
But yeah, Maria, I really love what you said about having to make time for that. I'm right there with you. I'm a full-time college student and I work. And so when I get home, I just want to like mindlessly scroll till I get tired. And I'm like, you know what? I have got 3 hours I am wasting. I can take 20 minutes out of my time to get in the word and not be distracted by the world. And so I shut my phone off and I've been trying to do it every day. And it's made such a difference in my spiritual life. It's so good. And we live in such a fast-paced world that's kind of neglected a lot, I think.
Yes. We're very distracted and we're very desensitized.
Yep.
And mindless is the perfect adjective for that, because we do crave mindlessness because we're so overwhelmed. I think that we have way too much input. We're not meant to know the news of the entire world all the time. It's too much for one person to handle. And so we look for an outlet to just kind of relax in social media. And it's like, I really realized over time that I was just spending all my time there instead of with the Lord, and he was just waiting all this time. And it makes such, like you said, it makes such a difference in every aspect. Prayer changes everything. And people who don't tap into that, they're missing out on so much.
Absolutely. Have you debated writing a devotional book, Maria?
Ben is waving to his Aunt
Hey,
Dana.
Dana.
Love you, Aunt Dana. I have never thought about it. There was another person at NQC this year that said, "I'm ready for your book," and it made me laugh. I was like, ha ha ha. But I definitely have a heart for, like, I've done women's ministry events with my mom, and I have a heart. I'm in a season right now where I'm really enjoying sitting back and just like learning from other people. And I forced myself to be a part of a Bible study that I knew I was going into by myself, not knowing anybody. And that was really intimidating for me because I'm so used to like either having a leadership role or being a part of a study with my mom or with people that I know. And that has grown me a lot because it's just getting me out of my comfort zone. That doesn't really answer your question. Maybe in the future, if God calls me to it.
Well, just talking to you, I was like, she could totally write a devotion, and I'd read every page.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No doubt. All right. Y'all have any of your other normal questions? Oh, what we got?
That's Miss Pam from our church. We love her. They're like,
Yay, Avery and Evan.
Actually, 2 years ago, I was coming back from NQC and I was driving my little old car that is no longer with me anymore, but it broke down in Knoxville traffic, and her husband drove 4 hours all the way up to get me because he had a car hauler and took
That's
us
a
all the
good
way
friend.
from Knoxville back to Birmingham. Yeah, so we love the Samuels family. So thanks
That's
for
a
watching.
good friend.
Awesome. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have any of your other normal questions you want to pose tonight?
I think I've got all mine out. Riley and Evan.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, Ben, what is the best advice you have received from your dad?
Oh, yeah.
That's a very loaded question, I know.
Yeah, really. Y'all might have to talk and let me
I've
think about that.
only talked to Jared a couple times, and things he's told me are just filled of wisdom. So I can't, can't even imagine the things he's told you over your whole life.
Well, yeah, he stepped all over my toes at NQC at Singing News Fan Awards. Ministry has changed for me a lot over the years. 21 years in the actual church ministry, whether it be youth or whether it be worship music or executive pastor, interim pastor, all the different hats. And I'm not doing any of that anymore. And sometimes felt like almost in a retirement, so to speak. And then Brother Gerald gets up at NQC and accepts an award. And he talks about, with some of his, as he gets older and some of the issues he's had, people asking, when are you going to retire? And he said, show me the scripture. And we can retire from careers and jobs, but the calling you can never retire from. And I'm sitting there taking a little spiritual whipping there that I need to change my attitude that, yes, I'm not doing the same things, but I do have a flock. I do have a field, this and some other things that God is hopefully going to use. And so that wisdom came from that stage straight to the seat that I was sitting in.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. I would probably say something that has stuck out to me from Dad. He's told me that never let one negative comment determine what you do. And it could be with anything. if you, felt like you had a great concert one night and you really felt the Holy Spirit and people were encouraged, and there could be just one person
that's going like this.
One person that comes up to you and says,
Too
it was
loud.
too loud, or I didn't agree with this.
I'm sorry, I had to.
No, you're absolutely right.
The enemy will send people your way
Yes.
to discourage you.
He says some people have the gift of discouragement.
Yeah, and he says some people have the gift of discouragement, and you just have to let those, comments and people just roll right off your shoulders.
That's hard to do, by the way, because it's so interesting. Our human nature likes to fixate on the one negative, even if we have 100 positives.
Yes.
Oh,
His actions have always spoken louder than words for me.
Consistency.
He is the most consistent person I know. And because of that, I am just so grateful that he's my dad and he's my hero, and I look up to him. So I'm really thankful I'm thankful
to know him.
So
thankful to know my dad. Yeah.
No, I'm really thankful for the godly life that he's lived, and that I really want to follow in his footsteps and try to be the best that I can be and continue the legacy as best as I can.
That's awesome. Well, I think I told y'all this when we were doing a check this afternoon, and I don't think the young one's going to ask this question, but maybe since I kind of posted out there, you might have thought of it. Every now and then, I think it's Avery, the one that kind of throws this out there. Like, if you
is
ask,
it the one I was just about to do?
Well, do it.
About the career. Okay, I totally forgot. I always ask this one. So if singing was not an option, you couldn't do that, what would you do as a career? We have had some pretty interesting answers so far. Ethan Wisnett really shocked me. He said he'd be a chiropractor, and I was like, yeah, I mean, okay.
Not what I would have expected. Okay.
That is totally not what I was expecting.
Yeah,
you would have thought like pro golfer or something. I would probably. That's really hard.
I'd be in production, or I'd be a musician.
I think I'd want to be a teacher.
I could see that.
I really enjoy, I've had a couple opportunities to go and be with youth, do youth events, and I just really enjoy it so much. When people ask me how old I am, I want to say 17 because that's where I am, in my mind, and then I'm like, oh, I'm 26. Okay. But yeah, I think that's what we would do.
That's good. That wasn't it, Avery. That wasn't the question.
Oh, that wasn't it? Okay,
No.
okay.
The other question, and I think you started it when you would ask our host to ask if they had any questions.
Oh,
they
yeah.
could
If
ask
they have
the
any
panel.
questions for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'll ask all of you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I have to do this a lot for my job, for my college career thing. They ask us all the time, where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20 years, whatever. Working in a hospital somewhere, because that's what I'm going into, is to be an administrator in a hospital, hopefully helping people when they can't be helped and spreading God's love through that. I definitely think that's a ministry. I would love to do that. And I teach in Sunday school classes, and I'm very active in my church. I plan to continue that as long as the Lord will let me do that. I love that. It's so fun.
And I hope you're still doing this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if the Lord allows the story to keep going, we'll keep going.
Yes.
Well, right now I'm in that transitional, you're out of high school, you're no longer a teenager, welcome to adult world. And with that comes a lot of prayer and a lot of, what am I doing? This summer was a big
He had
challenge.
a nervous breakdown almost deciding what to do.
It's okay.
Deciding what to do. And I had a band director, a friend of mine from the local high school down here. He was like, hey, you want to come in and teach drums? And I was like, sure, why not? And all this time I was like, okay, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. I tried out for multiple different groups who were hiring at that time, didn't get the jobs, and realized God wants me to be a band director because you can teach music, but you can also make good men and women in the world one day. And I had a high school band director just like that. He made me a better young man, taught me leadership, didn't just teach me how to play music. He taught me how to be a better young man through leadership, through my Christian life. He plays piano at his church. He's a big supporter of young believers. And he was I don't talk about it enough, how much he influenced me to become a band director and want to influence not so much better musicians in the world, but better people in the world. And that's the best place to do it, is because you're with them more than they are with your family. So that's where I kind of see myself in 5 years.
You know, the Collingsworth family song, You're About to Climb, where it says, standing at a crossroads of faith and deepest fear.
Yes.
So afraid of failing if you move on from here. And it's like, that's kind of where a lot of people are when they're 18 years old. I've always said it's a horrible time, which is a bad way to describe it, but it's like there's so much pressure to know exactly what's your career, what are you doing, what are you majoring in, and it's like, I'm not ready to answer that yet because I'm just stepping out on my own and figuring this out. It's totally okay not to know and just follow the Lord. I think it's beautiful that God has shown you at a young age that singing doesn't have to be the goal. It can be a gift that he's given us that we can use in so many ways. But even for us, like, singing just isn't.
I didn't plan on singing.
But, well, what I'm getting at is it's not the goal. Like, the goal is like how you interact with people in your daily life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Dusty Wells.
I know of him. I know of him.
He's wonderful with Daywin. And he represents the artists. And so he made a post this week talking about how in the 80s he was for sure pursuing being an artist. And the doors just kept closing with that. And God showed him, I have called you to help artists and encourage them grow in their music ministry. And so God has used him in this new way that he never thought, and
he is so good. Best. He is so good at what he does.
Such an encouragement. And so God will use you wherever he leads you.
Absolutely, yes.
Riley?
Yes. I'm kind of in the same spot, still trying to figure everything out specifically, but I know that whatever I do, I want to be involved in my local church and serve and be a help as best as I can, especially like coming from a smaller church. There's a lot of needs in the church that need filled. And so helping smaller churches and kind of helping there would be kind of where my heart is right now.
And I hope in 5 years I can still look out in a gospel music crowd and see Riley Wheeler right there. He's like the tallest person in the
tallest person on the universe.
You never miss him. It makes me so happy. Even at NQC, I can see Riley.
Love it.
That's why people don't know me, is because I'm so short. That's it.
Hey, it's okay.
Right there with you, man.
No, but yeah, Riley, we appreciate you always showing up to concerts. And Bradford's, I know that we don't sing in your neck of the woods much, but I hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys need to come down to Alabama more often.
I do book. I'm the singing coordinator at our church. So if you get a telephone call here in a couple weeks,
awesome.
Answer it.
Okay. Scott, did you want to answer that? Where you see yourself in 5 years?
I will. I'm in 1 month. I hit the 50 mark.
You keep calling yourself so old, and that's not old.
Oh, I know. I'm just in this group. I'm Papa, but I'm really not old. But I have worked a career in the financial world and have been blessed. But in 5 years, it would be my prayer to maybe be getting really close to being able to retire from that. And talking about cliches, I've always been told that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm thankful for the blessings that God has given me in my vocation. But I don't know that I've ever been there exactly. As far as it's just the heartfelt love for what I do. I always had dreams growing up of being a singer. I was not given the singing ability to do it, nor the confidence with what I do have. But I would love to find an opportunity, background, role, whatever, to be more involved in my later years in Southern gospel in some way. So just praying that might be a possibility, that God would move where I would be financially to the part of possibly retiring from the secular world and then moving into more ministerial role in the Southern gospel industry.
That's wonderful. And you can always, look for a wonderful choir to join too. Choirs are really fun to be a part of.
Oh yeah. And everything that I just said, then I don't think I've ever really spoken out loud, especially on camera. So, but
well, thank you for sharing.
That's my heart. Again, I never want to. I'm blessed, and I know I'm blessed with opportunities that I've had. But this music is my heart. I love the people who do it, like y'all, and would love to see some way to become even more active. So.
I gotta say, what you're doing right now with this interview, you're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone has that gift.
Papa Scott.
We're trying to get him a shirt that says Papa Scott.
Papa Scott.
Well, I thank y'all so much. It's my heart. I love, and I you don't see Jason. You may have seen a hand every now and then, but he's sitting right over here, helping run everything. He and I also do what we call the old folk show, I guess. We get the non-youth on that, but we love it. It's my heart. But I love these young folks. I love it. It's my heart. So it's a joy. I look forward to this, and I just I thank y'all for the opportunity to let me sit in and be along for the ride. Now, this is very important, because it's a segue that I missed earlier when we were talking about Alabama and coming to Alabama. I've heard Josh Singletary say this so many times when people would say, why don't y'all come to insert city, insert state? And he'll say, well, because you haven't asked us. So, and all that, some saying,
Josh can say it well.
He says it well. But to our watchers that may be meeting these fantastic Kramers, Wolves. Do I have to put a V in that?
It would be Wolves.
Wolves. I don't know if it's anyway. You're meeting them and you're seeing what wonderful people they are, the hearts they have. You go to look up on, you find YouTube, Facebook, you find their music. You need to have them at your church. I would invite you to go to, I think we have we got it up, kramersmusic.com. You can go there. You can find booking links, how to get in touch with them, to schedule them. Two things. First of all, I'd love for you to go to the kramersmusic.com and look in their store. You need to shop. There are some amazing projects that you could get. The Sing Me There project, that is available and is an awesome one.
There I am.
There you are. There he is. And also, last year, one of my favorite Christmas projects was this one. Christmas Kramers.
Fun fact, that couch was actually purple.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's a purple couch. Interesting. Okay.
Lavender.
Nice edit. Very nice edit.
So you do all the graphic on the albums?
I do.
So to y'all watching, would y'all go to the kramersmusic.com and shop and support this wonderful family? Please buy their products, and you'll be blessed. It's outstanding music, outstanding production. We've already talked about that. But then also go, if you are a music minister, a pastor, or member of your church, get the information and let's bring them to Alabama. Let's bring them to
Alabama.
Like I say, if you get a text, call, or email in the next couple of weeks,
answer it. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Go Balls.
Thank you. Oh my, those are fighting words.
All right, we're not getting them there.
I don't care about
football.
football.
Yeah, not to me. But yes, please, y'all go and support and go and visit the website. And is there anything else that y'all would like to promote or talk about as far as the Kramers goes?
One of the things that I always talk about in interviews, because it's important to me, is that if you're wondering who the two other people are who sing with us, it's my mom and dad, Scott and Rachel. And it's important to me, one, because I love them very much. And they are the ones who, through God's strength, guiding, and help, have built this ministry. the other reason why I want people to know that they are my parents is so that they don't think I'm their sister or their mom. So 'cause I cannot tell you how many times that's happened at the product table. And I'm just like, really? Wow. Okay. So that's my mom and dad, Scott and Rachel. They're awesome people. If you get the chance to ever talk to them, you will leave feeling very encouraged and loved. And they love the Lord so very much. So very thankful for my parents.
Precious people indeed. Well, you guys, we have broke a record, and I didn't mean to. We did not mean to keep y'all this
We just
long.
had so much fun.
It's fun. Yes, it's been so much fun. Anything else we need to tidy up before we? Riley, it's 11 o'clock your time almost.
Oh,
It's about
thank
time
you,
for
Riley.
bed. But I've had a great time. So
Time for me to go night-night.
I took about a 3-hour nap before this just to prepare.
Thank you so much for meeting later tonight, you guys. We appreciate that because we wanted to be sure that we weren't chasing children the whole time.
Yeah,
That would have been.
Is this the part of the episode where Lauren Talley comes on? Right.
I don't know if you know this, but Lauren surprised them on one of their episodes.
Oh,
that's why
fun.
they said that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, Lauren has been kind of a mentor to Jaylee Vanderslice, and so I didn't tell her or the young panel members that I was bringing her in, and so yeah, that was. I had nothing up. Papa had nothing up his sleeve tonight, but you never know. You never know.
This has been really great, you guys. Thank you so much.
Well, thank y'all so much for supporting us and encouraging us and being a part of what we do. And I just love y'all to death. I think the world of you. And yes, Evan, that's because Evan is only a couple hours from me. So if he gets you there, maybe schedule a workout where I could come as well. And
let me know. I like to do a big youth event during the summertime. We might can work up a Southern Gospel Forward type night.
That'd be great.
That would be fun.
Pretty
Fly
fun.
Riley in.
Yes.
There you go. Fly him in. All the way.
It's a couple hours.
Yeah, we've been at singing with Riley in the Edge Development.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, to all you guys who have watched live, thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. If you would, just please like us, share us with your friends. Be sure to like that SBM Studios Facebook page. If you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, that would be a huge blessing to us. And you can always go back and catch those episodes on the back play. But thank y'all so much for your support. I think we've had as many live watchers as we've ever had on this one. So that is fantastic, probably because y'all have shared it. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Any parting words of wisdom from my panel?
Just follow God, keep him first, and love others well.
I think
obey God and leave all the consequences to him.
I love it. That's a Charles Stanley special right there, brother.
Yeah.
I have the Charles Stanley Study Bible. So yes, there you go. Yes, that's what I use every time that I open the Word. It's Charles Stanley Study Bible. So very good. Anything else from young crew?
Our aunt Wanda was watching. This is the first episode she got to watch, so we were going to say hi to her. So she works late nights.
Aunt Wanda.
Hi, Wanda.
Hi. Thank y'all so much. Well, if that's it, I think we'll go ahead and round up the ponies and head on out. But thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. And y'all be watching for our next episode. It's getting late. I'm tripping over the song. Yeah. But thanks, Ben and Maria, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Avery and Evan.